So today we're wrenching on this 2004 R50 Pathfinder. From this guy, we're gonna go ahead and harvest the strut mounts. So right there, I've loosened the top of the strut from the vehicle here because mine is pretty rusted, especially on the driver's side, I believe. And I'm pretty sure that when I go to take things apart to lift my truck, that hardware is just gonna disintegrate. So I'm gonna get these guys out, and hopefully we can get this out with very little effort. So far, the truck's been working with me. This is the same R50 that I showed you guys in the previous junkyard video where I said that the entire exhaust was gone and that it looked like it had relatively new engine mounts on each side. That's the same R50 that I'm wrenching on. So I should be able to make short work of this. At least that's what I'm hoping. Now that we have those nuts loosened, we can just go ahead and take them off by hand. That one's under tension. Yeah, this guy's loose here. And this looks like brand new hardware, so I'm keeping it. Yeah. So now that we have the top of the strut removed from the body of our R50 on both sides, now we're gonna go ahead and bust out our new tool here. This is something that I literally just received in the mail yesterday. And you know, I was just here yesterday. No worries, this is the yard closest to my house. So it's not like I'm really using any real fuel to come here. It's about 10 minutes from my house. So I'm gonna back out our blue case and get our spring compression tool on here and get to work. So for this particular application, we had to go ahead and use the biggest adapters for the spring compression tool. We have it on now. Now we're gonna go ahead and attach our wrench. And the cool thing about this is that it doesn't require much turning force at all. And this is gonna do all the work for us. Now that we have everything nicely compressed, and then our strut mount should come right off. It'll come off now. Let me grab this off. So we got our strut mount removed. And again, I just primarily needed this for the studs because the aftermarket one that I bought from KYB on Rock Auto doesn't come with the studs. I'm thinking about taking this portion because I suspect that mine is going to be in really bad shape. So this just goes to show, guys, with the right tools, all things are possible. So we went ahead and took the strut mount. We have the bellow and the dust boot, although I don't need the bellow or the dust boot. But that metal plate that goes under the strut mount, that I'm keeping, which is gonna be this guy right here. I'm gonna keep that. The dust boots, they may or may not still be worth saving, but I'm gonna see how much I have to pay for those. Today is the day where we finally get everything mounted onto the truck for our lift. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what the finished product looks like. So that's everything. Everything on the left is gonna be your front suspension supporting components. And then of course, our rear lift springs. These are the LR9447s. And here we have our Dobinsons. The first thing I wanna do, guys, is go ahead and start assembling the front strut assemblies. So I'm gonna go ahead and set you guys up, and we're gonna get to working on that. Here we go. So no exaggeration, guys. I've been fighting with this thing for several hours now. Not so much to get it on, but just to get my tool off. So if you notice, one of my spring compression rings I removed, the top one. So this is the screw, and I essentially had to remove this compression ring and beat it with my rubber mallet here to get it to turn enough to come off. So now this strut is fully assembled. We went ahead and used the old Dutch boot that we got from the junkyard. There's nothing wrong with it, it's perfectly fine. We're gonna leave this nut semi-loose until we go to mount things onto the truck. So there's this one. Now we're gonna go ahead and get to the second coil and strut. So here we have it, guys. The strut assembly is fully assembled with the strut bearing, strut mount, and coil springs. I'm gonna go ahead and get these on the truck. I do believe we have just enough daylight left, so I'm gonna go ahead and push through and get these loaded on the front. So the next thing on our list is to get the front wheels removed. We're gonna go ahead and get those lugs loosened. We'll get the truck jacked up, take the wheels off, and then we're gonna start by removing, loosening these strut mount, and then from there we'll work our way down to the knuckle. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Mr. Diablo to this thing. I'm not even gonna fool around with it. Alright guys, so I ended up cutting through the lower bolt for the sway bar end link. So I cut it in half and I just buzzed this guy off with my my impact. Let's see if I'll be able to get the top to come off. Finally got our strut assembly off. Here it is. And now it's time to put on the new one. So here we have our strut assembly side by side. You see the subtle differences. Here's the finished product for the driver's side, guys. I'm not gonna get the passenger side done today. It's dark and it's late, but everything's nice and buttoned up here on the driver's side. I feel really good about things. Alright guys, so it's day 2 of this project. Last night I was only able to get the driver's side strut installed. This morning we're gonna work on the passenger side and then ultimately the rear end. So let's get into it. Alright, so far I was able to get our sway bar end link removed from the sway bar. I ended up having to cut through it just like the driver's side. Used our reciprocating saw here along with Mr. Diablo cutting blade. As you can see, made short work of this thing. A couple of relief cuts and bam, off it came. So now we're working on separating the knuckle from the bottom of the strut. Okay guys, so we have a little small victory here. We're able to get our top bolt removed. Here it is. The bottom one is being a bit stubborn, but I think if we keep at it, it'll eventually succumb. Stand by. So we were able to get the old strut off, as you guys can see. Not to worry, there's no tension on that brake line whatsoever. We have a chock of wood here resting against my floor jack that's keeping the knuckle from moving any further. So we're gonna go ahead and fish our replacement strut and coils into place and see what happens. So another small victory. We're able to get our strut mount nuts started there, and now we're going to go back to the bottom and secure the strut assembly to the knuckle. So since we've gotten the experience working on the driver's side last evening, seems that the R50 guides are working with us, because things are going together quite easily. But let me not celebrate yet. So I was able to get my top bolt in without issue. The bottom one, I'm gonna have to jiggle the knuckle a little bit to get it in there, but it's pretty much halfway. So I was able to get the bottom bolt home. What I ended up doing was taking my hammer and just slightly tapping it. I don't advise doing that because you could possibly mushroom the head of your bolt, but these were light taps. So here's our replacement sway bar end link for the front. This is called original grade. I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy put on our R50 now. All right, guys, so the front is officially finished. This is the final product of our labor here on the front. For the passenger side, got a new strut, Dobinson lift springs, and some sway bar end links. Yeah. All right, so we got my R50 nosed in here in my driveway. I'm using a natural pitch of the driveway to try and aid me and having enough room to drop the rear differential. It gets pretty low to the ground, so I'm confident I should be able to clear these coil springs. At least that's what I'm hoping. So from here, we're going to start by first removing the driver's side sway bar end link and rear shock. So far, we got the hardware and components removed from our driver's side, and the driver's side sway bar end link has been removed already. Now let's move over to the passenger side. All right, so the passenger side rear shock has been removed along with our sway bar end link. So now for the moment of truth, we're gonna lower the differential and see what we get. Yeah, that's a substantial amount of droop. So that's full droop with the pan hard. Let's see how this goes. Well, the full droop, the driver's side coil doesn't appear to be an issue. Looks like we should be able to get this on pretty easily. Based on all the visual research I've done on YouTube and everywhere else, the passenger side is gonna be the trickiest, because it only droops but so far. But I mean, putting my foot on here, maybe to get some additional clearance. So I'm hoping I can slip things on here. If I can, then I'm home free. If not, whoo, yeah, I'm gonna have to break into my inner Christmas story, Dad, and make up my own curse words. But let's see what we get. So you're gonna notice that when you have the suspension at full droop, that the driver's side coil spring can just be easily had, like you see right here. The passenger side, however, a different story. So I was getting a little bit frustrated, but then I had to remind myself that I have a spring compression tool. So we just switched to the appropriate compression rings, and I'm gonna loosen this guy up and send him home. Here's our coil in place. Now I'm gonna reconnect everything on this side and then move over to the driver's side, and we'll button everything up. See you guys there. And see, on this side, it just slides right in. To make things a little bit easier for myself, I'm repositioning my sway bar end links first, and then from there, I'll get into our shock absorber. Just the guys that I've been waiting for. So we just got our UPS delivery. Can you guess what's in this box? All right, guys, so everything's buttoned up on the driver's side. Have our shock assembly reattached. Also our sway bar end link. Let's go ahead and move over to the passenger side. We're gonna go ahead and get our wheels back on. All right, guys, it's 10:07 a.m. the next morning. Our lift was completed late yesterday afternoon around 5. I did take some before and after measurements, and I'm gonna take even more once I get the 3110.5 mounted. That's what we're gonna be heading out to do right now. We're gonna be heading to Discount Tire. But yeah, guys, I think it came out pretty good. You know what you think in the comments. One of the things that I noticed too since lifting my truck is that my steering wheel is actually straight now. Before, when I would drive, it would list to the side. When I say it would list to the right, but no, it's pretty straight. Amazing. So we just arrived at Discount Tire. This is my local store. It's camping in. We're gonna walk in here and check in. Yeah, Discount Tire hooked it up, guys. So got my new Falcon Wild Peaks, and they gave me some chrome valve stem covers and some new valve stems. I don't know, I really don't see a rake on this truck. I could be wrong, but I really don't see one. I'll let you guys be the judge. You see a rake here? I mean, it looks pretty level to me. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Hey, look, it's another R50. And I'm in my R50. Just got back from O'Reilly's, and the only cam bolts that they had in stock was the Moog version. I kind of despise Moog because of other prominent mechanics. I'm running into issues with them, fitment issues and such with their parts. But they only had these two alignment cam bolts in stock. I'm hoping that that's all I need. I drove the truck for about 8 miles roughly so far since getting my tires fitted, and everything feels great. I'm really happy about the level of road noise that I hear from the new tires, which is very minimal. And then the fact that I can turn lock to lock and not experience any rubbing. And this is with my factory mud flaps still attached. So I'm very excited about that. Leaving work on Labor Day weekend. Look, it's taller than the 4Runner next to it. Yeah, mile markers are holding up really nice. Really pleased with the overall performance. Yeah, guys, I can still tuck. Look at this. I mean, it's all the way tucked too. Hey, look, it's a white R50 Pathfinder LE trim. It's a good looking one. All right, guys, so all up, it took me approximately 2 days to complete the process of lifting my R50 Pathfinder. I do recommend that if you're going to do this, that you have a buddy to help you get things done a little bit faster and easier, because it is quite labor intensive. But again, I got it done in 2 days. I did this over my 3-day weekend, and on day 3, I went to Discount Tire, and that's when I had my 3110.5s mounted on my 15-inch Steelies. So this whole process, guys, it's been some work to get here. It's not over. We still have quite a ways to go in terms of groundwork. So stay tuned, because there'll definitely be more videos to come. I'd also like to know what your aspirations are for your personal R50 Pathfinder or Infinity QX4. Do you plan to keep things on the stock side? Do you plan to explore a little bit, maybe modify things, upgrade a little? Let me know what your plans are, whatever your current build situation is on your R50 Pathfinder or QX4. I'd really like to hear about them, so let me know in the comments. Thanks again for stopping by the Camper Dan Files. My name is Chris, and until next time, keep using your Pathfinder as a Pathfinder, on or off the pavement. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.